right, cool. All right, thanks everyone for joining today. This month's a live product demo session is going to be covering engaging audiences. The setup for this one's going to be a little bit different than the last few sessions. We're not going to spend very much time in the builder here. We're really going to be going through kind of some best practices when it comes to experiences that really help with driving engagement. And we're going to walk through quite a few examples and kind of call out why they are engaging, some best practices around them, and just let you know that they are available for you to run in the Wyng platform. So let's jump through. So for the agenda, first we're going to cover some best practices around running engaging experiences. From there, we're going to jump in, like I said, walk through those examples. I've pulled quite a few to walk through today. So we'll go through. If you have any questions or anything like that as we're highlighting these examples, please feel free to jump in and throw them out there. We're also going to touch on, after we walk through the examples, the team over here at Wyng has made quite a few enhancements to the metrics dashboard, particularly around engagement metrics. So we're going to go walk through what those improvements have been. I'm going to show you how you can take advantage of them, really jump into the metrics dashboard there for that section. Then we're going to end the session with some updates around our generative AI experiences. We have a few new examples to show off, as well as a few new features when it comes to generative AI. So definitely want to highlight those. And then coming out of this, if you are interested in anything that you saw on the AI front, please feel free to reach out to myself or Aaliyah or Dan, and we can get a separate call scheduled with you to kind of talk through these new advancements on the AI side with Wyng. So that being said, let's jump in and get started on best practices. So when it comes to engagement best practices, a few things we want to touch on. Three of these points are going to be very familiar. We really just want to keep, I know on the Wyng side, there's some of our like kind of benchmark when it comes to best practices for experiences in general. With the engagement experiences, you don't want them to just be engaging. You still do want to have some type of data capture piece when available or when possible. So with that, make sure, like we said in the past few sessions here, only collect data that you plan on using. It's not good practice to just bombard people asking them for data if you don't have a plan for using it. After that, if possible, integrate that data into your email or CRM system so you can action on it when it comes to all the data that you have collected. And then last but not least, on the best practices that you hear over and over again from us is provide some type of value. This really does drive engagement because if people know they're getting something of value from the experience that they're running, it's going to give them that extra push to continue to interact and engage with that experience. So whether that be like a recommendation, some type of discount, additional product, or a brand education, definitely something to keep in mind when you're planning out these experiences. Then when it comes to the engagement side, three other things to just keep in mind. Make the experience fun. If you want to do, say, a data capture experience and you want to give some type of like promo code out, don't just have a form with a promo code on the thank you page. With Wyng, you can do things like a spin to win. So after a user goes through and enters in their information, they see a spin wheel that they can interact with to add some type of animation, some type of fun gamification on the page before they see what their discount code is. We'll walk through some of these examples, but we also have things like the scratch off experience, some countdown calendars, polls, quizzes. So have that fun interaction included in one of the experiences as well. Minimize unnecessary clicks. Specifically on the quiz side, you don't want to overload people with too many questions. We see on quizzes anywhere from 5 to 10 is really that what's it called? That sweet spot when it comes to running a quiz. Alternatively, for things like countdown calendars and things like that, you don't want to have too many options for a user to click on. So for countdown calendars, we really see like probably like that 12 to 24 sweet spot in terms of tiles. So while you do want it to be fun and engaging, you don't want to drag people through a lot of different clicks to eventually get to the end of the experience. So do keep that in mind. So keep it fun, but also keep it short, so you don't have any drop off with the experience. Um, and then another one that we've seen a few different clients kind of miss the mark here, is make sure you use branded assets where available. So things like the scratch off and spin to win, you're able to upload your own branded assets for these experiences. So you can really make them look, instead of more of a kind of like a out of the box template, you really have the ability to customize a lot of the various design features in these experiences, to make sure that they do kind of wind up being on brand for you. Cool. So that's a high level overview of some of the engagement best practices or things to keep in mind when you do want to plan out an engaging campaign. Next, what we're going to do, we're just going to jump into some of the experience examples that we pulled up. Cool. Let's start over here. So we're going to start with a gamified experience here. This is a scratch off experience that the Mac team ran throughout the year. All it is someone lands on their page and they're able to go through scratch to reveal and see what either the product deal is or the promo code that they're being provided. Again, for experiences like this, you're able to fully customize both the scratch off image as well as what the user sees behind the scenes after they do the scratch off. You're also able to, for both the scratch off and our spin to win experiences, you can also work in that data capture element. So if you want to gate the scratch off section of the experience with your form, ask users for like their first name, last name, email, like maybe an opt-in to sign up to a mailing list or something like that. Then you can then divert them over to the gamified piece of this, where they can go through, kind of scratch off, pretend they're playing like the lotto card or something like that to see what deal they've been awarded. After scratch offs, we have spin to wins. This is a great example of using branded assets in a spin to win. The Darfon team did a great job here, not only making it look on brand with like the colors and the designs of the spin wheel, but also working in like their logo in the middle of the wheel, and really updating what kind of the clicker looks like, or the arrow, to really feel on brand for them. So they made sure as they were building out this experience and putting in the assets that everything was extremely on brand for the Darfon team. And again, this is another one of those examples where this is just an engagement play here. There is no real data capture, but if you did want to work in a data capture element to this experience, you are able to easily do that by adding in a Wyng form to kind of gate what the spin wheel before a user can interact with it. Any questions along the lines for our two like productized gamified experiences, either the scratch off or the spin to win, before we jump into a few other examples here? Perfect. Cool. So next, we also want to touch on a few experiences when it comes to new quiz questions that are available. So in the past, you'd be most used to the kind of like, what's it called, multiple choice questions that are available within the platform in the quizzes. We've also recently added in the ability to support swipe questions as well. So you can go through, this is what we call our yes no swipe card, where you can have your card up here. It's asking whether you like a specific product or a specific question, something like that. And you can either on desktop click like the heart or the X. On mobile, you can swipe this with your finger, either left or right, to say whether you like it or not. So a new style question. This looks really good on mobile. Some of the few use cases we've seen here, kind of polling like you're seeing here. We've also seen this pop up for like wish lists or like kind of like style guides and things like that for some of our beauty and cosmetics and clothing brands that we work with. So a lot of cool possibilities in terms of the types of new experiences, especially focused on mobile, that you can run with our swipe feature. Aside from just the single swipe, We also have the ability to do head-to-head swipes. So in this case, instead of just swiping on one image, you have two images kind of matching up against each other, and you can vote on which image is your favorite between the two. This is especially going to be popular for things like polling experiences. We've also seen this used in a bracket experience. So instead of just kind of like our click to vote, as brackets have been in the past, you're now able to do this swipe feature to vote between a matchup as well. And again, this is all fully productized within the platform, so you're able to go through and just set this as a question type in the questions component as you're building them out. Speaking of brackets, a bracket experience is a great way to kind of run various matchups for a product, whether it be kind of deciding upon a new flavor or a favorite flavor like Doritos did here. We've also seen it used for different, like on the beauty and cosmetic side, like favorite looks and things like that. So you're able to, again, set this up using using a questions component. In this case, Doritos did it with our click option. You can, if you would like, you can also use our swipe feature to power the matchup questions as well. You can go through, set these up from, like, say you want to start with 16, whittle it down to 1. You have a few different options in how you can set up the bracket campaign style here. Aside from brackets, and the brackets not only do a good job of getting like some interaction and engagement on like the voting side, but since they are multiple rounds, it also does a great job of driving repeat traffic. So people come back either day after day or like week after week, depending upon how your rounds are running, to continue to interact with the experience and really get invested in what flavor or what matchup is going to win or be determined the winner at the end. Aside from brackets, another great experience that is involved in driving repeat visits and having people keep coming back and keep engaging are our countdown calendars. In this case, this was a 12 days of giveaways countdown, where each day was a different giveaway that users could win here. One update that we are going to be making to the countdown calendar for this upcoming holiday season is you're now going to have the ability to add an expiration date for each tile, as well as upload your own expiration date. Your own expiration date for when the tile relocks. Quick question that came in. On the Doritos bracket, how many social posts do you recommend and at what cadence to support this style promotion? Great question. On that, I think it really depends on how long each round is. What we've seen work really well is do a social post to overall promote the bracket. And we've seen it work well with one social post or a few social posts on the different platforms at the start of the voting round, kind of calling out and promoting, like, okay, it's like orange soda versus Mineragua or something like that. And then a reminder post with, say, a day or 2 days left in the voting period, and then a final post just to be like, hey, like this round is closed, come back next Monday or whenever the next round starts. So anywhere in that 2 to 3 social posts to really promote that specific matchup or that specific round. A reminder to get people to come back and make sure they're participating in the voting round, and then one to let people know that that the round has closed. Hope that answers that question. Cool. And then coming back to the countdown calendar. So currently with the countdown calendar, we only had the ability to have kind of like a coming soon state and an active state on the tiles. What's going to be released, I believe, like around sometime in Q3 is going to be the ability to relock these tiles. So you'll have the ability to not only have like a coming soon and an activation date in the builder, You're also going to be able to set an expiration date for a tile as well as upload an expired image as well. So in the past where you would have to come in if you did want to relock a tile, it was more of a manual process. You're now going to be able to set up the entire flow of the countdown calendar ahead of time. So you can just set it and forget it once it's live, and then you don't have to worry about going back in during the run of the countdown calendar to relock any tiles. We'll definitely send out an email with that update once it's available, because we've heard that from quite a few clients in terms of things they wish the countdown calendar would do. And since it is such a popular experience, especially around the holidays, that's something that we're actively working on to get that in there for everyone to be able to take advantage of for holidays 2024. Cool. Now, the next form of engagement campaigns that we see are very, very popular with our Wyng clients are our various quizzes, whether it be trivia quizzes, personality style quizzes, product finder quizzes, polls, like things like that, where people can come in, answer a few questions, either set a score, or go through and go through and get a recommended product. This is a quiz that was built out for a paper and packaging board, where not only was it a trivia quiz, but they went through and they worked in videos into the quiz. So instead of just being like reading off the question and answering it, they wanted to drive streams of some of these videos that they put together. So they asked for people to watch the video and watch the short video clip and then answer the question. So this is a cool way of working in a different media into the quiz as well. And this is something you're able to do within the questions component, is embed videos into the question piece, and then you can have a question related to that video. So yeah, just a cool use of the trivia quiz option here. And so this is one of our product finder slash personality style quizzes. This was built by one of the teams over at Estee Lauder. And this went out around the launch of the last season of Stranger Things. So people could go through, they would answer a few different questions. And then at the end of this quiz, not only would they let you know whether you were in like the real world or the upside down, but then they also gave you a recommendation on a specific product. So it kind of melded the two quiz styles that we have here between Product Finder, as well as a little bit of fun play on the personality quiz side as well. Cool. Outside of quizzes, we've also seen some custom games come up recently as well. This is a match game that we built out for Aveda. We've also had another client actually build out a match game themselves. The match game does require some custom coding, so it would require either you to have a development resource on your side, or if it is something you're interested in, the Wyng Services team has also built this out before, so it's something that we could jump in and do for you. But again, custom games are now possible within the Wyng platform using a few of the features and the reveal component to help power them. So in this case, this is kind of like your usual like memory game, like play now kind of thing. So you flip over the card and you try to find which example is here. And then in this case, what they were doing is they were providing some additional educational material, just kind of highlighting some of the programs that Aveda has participated in. Here, we've also seen in another experience, the match showed off a specific, a specific deal or promo code based upon what you matched. So a few different options that you can power with the match game version. So those are some of the gamified and kind of gamified experiences, really non-UGC engagement examples. From here, we also before we move on, any questions around the like the quizzes, spin to win, scratch offs, countdown calendars, things like that, before we jump over to some user generated content examples? Cool. Cool. So another fun way to really drive engagement and interact with users is through user-generated content, or UGC. Um, Wyng can help power a UGC content or a UGC experience in a few different ways. We help with the collection and moderation of content. We support direct uploads on our pages. We also have a what's it called? We also have social content streams for Instagram, where you can go through and you can pull in content based on hashtag or user handle who posted and things like that to capture that content. Then once you capture it, we have a full content moderation dashboard where you can go through approve and reject content. We also have internal tagging for curation, so you can create really highly stylized and highly specific galleries based upon the content that's appearing. Along with Instagram, Wyng is also working with TikTok on their beta program for content aggregation as well. So if that is something you're possibly interested in, let us know. We'd love to talk to you about the details of what that program looks like. There's a few list of criteria that TikTok is enforcing for it, so we can kind of walk through to make sure that if you are interested, that you hit the criteria of the different accounts TikTok is looking for. But that is something that we are in the talks with and are actively looking for clients who do want to participate in that. It's going to allow you to ingest TikTok content based off of hashtag and like things like that, very similar to how our Instagram content stream currently works. This example here, this is one that we did for Delta Sky Miles Life. And what this allowed us to do is kind of highlight the UGC that travelers, the Delta Sky Miles travelers have uploaded. We also really took advantage of the internal tagging and curation here. You can go through and filter this gallery by specific destination. And when you do that, it then uses kind of our internal tagging system to just show off content that has been tagged, in that case, with like the Caribbean. So you're able to go through and really play around with that gallery, in this case, engage with this gallery based on either destinations, things to do and see types of trips, things like that. Another UGC example that we can do here is something that we've done for OxyClean. And what they did here is they wanted to really help create co-created content within the experience. So every piece of content that gets uploaded here gets this little OxyClean tag on it. It's a branded content that they can use both on this page as well as in like emails and across their website and things like that. This is also cool because not only are we doing just the OxyClean tag for any content that came through from Instagram. If you directly uploaded your content to this page, you were able to select which OxyClean product you were using. And then we're also doing some customized additions to or overlays to the experience based on that product that you picked. So you can do a product, in this case, a product spotlight on which product that user was using when they uploaded the piece of content. So a fun little co-branded user-generated content experience here. Any questions on the user-generated content side before we jump over to engagement metrics? Oh, cool. Let's jump over. So going to jump into the builder for the first time here and go to the metrics tab. So on the metrics tab, we've done quite a few updates, especially around the engagement side for these reporting metrics. So you'll see this new, relatively new metric called engaged sessions. What an engaged session is anyone that lands on a Wyng experience and does some type of action within the experience. So whether that be on a quiz, clicking in and starting the quiz, on a form, clicking into a form field to start participating that way. if it's a gallery, clicking into a gallery image or navigating around that way. It's taking some action within the Wyng experience. So this gives you a great breakdown of not only kind of segmenting out the people that just visited a page with a Wyng experience to the people that actually started to participate and actually engage with that experience. The engagement rate kind of breaks down that rate of people that actually engaged versus the number of people that just saw. That's how we calculate that. We also updated specifically for quizzes some of the performance metrics that you'll see on the engagement tab. The first one is the quiz completion rate by step. So with this, you're able to see how a user went through the experience. So if there's any like big drop off or anything like that, you would be able to see that here. Because it just kind of flows from question to question to see how many people went to each question and things like that. We also added additional metrics cards for quiz question analysis. So now you're able to come in here and quickly see how people have been answering each question. So in this case, like for how many people are being cooked for, we're seeing the table for two is like the most commonly provided answer. So it gives you a nice snapshot over how that experience is performing. Again, especially for quizzes, if you come in here and you see a big drop off at like one specific question, this will also help you go back in and be able to make that fix on the fly to kind of help out and make any correction there to avoid a large drop off rate. One other item with the metrics dashboard that we want to call out, especially for teams that are working or users that are working across different teams and they may want to share some of the metrics. We have this share button where you can create a shareable link for that dashboard and send it over to someone that doesn't have access to Wyng. It's a read-only link, so people would just be able to come in here and they'd be able to view the metrics dashboard for that specific campaign. Really valuable, especially if you're working across team and you need to share the performance metrics, but you don't want to have someone have a login to the Wyng platform. You are able to share it out that way. Cool. Next, we're going to jump into, or before we jump into the Gen AI updates, any questions around the engagement metrics or anything like that? Cool. All right, let's jump into the generative AI experiences for engagement and really highlight some of the recent updates that we made to these experiences. So we know we spoke about we did an overview of generative AI experiences probably 3 or 4 weeks ago on one of the demo calls. What they allow you to do is go through, ask users a few different questions, and then we're using generative AI on our side to go through and create fun and engaging outputs based on it. In the case that you're seeing over here, this is a toast creator where you're asking a few different questions around a toast that you want to give. And in this case, the AI experience is kicking out a customized toast for you. Now we've made a few updates to the Gen AI quizzes. Let's show here for the trip finder first. So with the trip finder, this is going to go through, it's going to ask me a few different questions here. So let's say I'm a planner. And again, this is also using our, our swipe technology here, as opposed to just kind of the clicking option here. So we'll say I'm a planner. We'll say the more the merrier here. Looking for a long weekend, something that's adventurous, and I want a hotel with lots of amenities. And let's say, hey, what budget? So you'll go through, answer all of these questions, and at the end of it, you'll go through and you'll finally get your result. This is also using one of our new question types as well. So before you weren't able to ask these kind of free form text questions within a Wing quiz. We've added that question type in now. So say I want to go to Japan as well. Then finally, we'll hit next. It'll go through, it's going to submit all of the answers that we provided. And then in this case, it's going to go through and give me an itinerary for a trip to Japan that I should look into. So it goes through, it organizes it 1 through 10, and I got this nice little itinerary based upon the answers that I provided. Now, with this quiz, we also have two different result cards here. So I went through the one flow where I got all of the questions. There is another piece of this quiz that if you answer a specific question earlier on, it'll take you directly to a result based upon the answers to the shorter abbreviated quiz. It just makes sense more upon the user flow there. And that's also using our quiz question branching that is currently now available as well to help you build out some of those more complex quizzes when it comes to in quiz question branching. Oop, I think we have a question come through. Cool. And then another one just want to show off here is the we created another fun engaging like kind of Mad Lib style experience. So let's say dog, say symbol, let's say I'm blanking here. So we go through, enter a proper noun, we'll say blue. Another animal, we'll say cat. And then pick a genre. So we want to say we want to have this be a spooky ad lib. And it'll go through, take all of the all of the entries that we put in there. In this case, it'll kick out a nice little, what's it called? A nice little ad lib story based upon what we entered in there. Great question on the can we restrict what type of questions, topics users can search for. This is a great segue into this section. So I'll flip back to this so you can scan this and interact with it in a second, but this question really relates to a few of the new enhancements that we're making here. So off of the question that just came in, we worked on adding in some built-in risk mitigation into the AI experiences. So you can block specific inputs or outputs that users can put into this. We also have a profanity filter that is available that you can blacklist specific words and phrases. And then in terms of moderation, we're also working on allowing you to kind of review and tune any of the output that gets created by the AI. So we are working on, as we've been talking to more and more clients about this, the ability to control what a user sees off of their inputs, especially moderating what the AI is putting out there, came up quite a few times. So we're really working on increasing the moderation capability of the AI outputs for these experiences. Another thing that we are also working on is being able to add in your products into some of the AI quizzes. So being able to give not only recommendations against the preference or the quiz that you put in or the answers that you put in for a specific product, but also using AI to kind of determine, like, give you reasons on why this is a good product as well, or reasoning around why it's a good recommendation. We spoke to one of our clients about this, and they came with a great quote. They were like, yeah, this is great because if you're using AI and the preferences that you volunteered, you're pretty much arguing against yourself at that point as to why to not pull the trigger on making that purchase decision. So it was a cool quote that we got from one of our clients about that. Let me flip back to the QR codes here. So if you do want to kind of play around with some of these experiences, I'll give you a second. The one on the left is that trip planner experience that we walk through. And then the one on the right is the recipe generator. So you can scan that one as well. The one on the left, the trip planner, does include some of those new question types and things like that, whereas the recipe planner is more so the usual multiple choice questions. So leave that up for a few more seconds for people to go through, scan them, and play around with them if they want. Perfect. Cool. And we're gonna place, we'll be uploading this deck to the what's it called? To the help center after this. So if you do want to come back in and check it out, you can check it out there. Or if you do have interest in learning more about our AI pilot program, absolutely reach out either to myself, Dan, or Aaliyah, and we can get a kickoff call scheduled to kind of walk you through our AI offering in more detail and kind of walk you through what that pilot program looks like. So definitely, if you're interested, please reach out. I'm more than happy to talk through that pilot program with you. Cool. So now we'll open it up. If I know we had a few questions come in throughout the what's it called throughout the session, but if anyone does have any additional questions, feel free to throw them out there. If not, thank you for joining this month's demo session. Hope you got a lot out of it, especially in terms of what our capabilities are around running engaging experiences. And yeah, like I said, have a good rest of your week, and we'll catch you up with you next month. Perfect. Doesn't look like any other questions. So thanks everybody. We'll see you next month.